What's up? How you doing? I'm yelling. I don't know why I'm yelling. Anyway,
yeah, you're really excited.
I know, right? Palworld has taken the world by storm, and it's super effective for now. Until Nintendo starts throwing out their Pokemon, their lawyers. Xbox Developer Direct has dropped a bombshell of a game. It's pretty cool. Is Xbox shifting its meaning of first-party exclusive games? We'll find out. Baldurs Gate 3 has made so much money it says doesn't need Game Pass. Good for them. Good for them. Okay. We'll get all of that and more on Season 8, Episode 3 of Press X to Start Gamers Digest. Couldn't hear myself in my left ear. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, a.k.a. Sexy Bad Choices, a.k.a. I just washed my hair from the NPC haircut. Jordan. I am joined by...
Who wants to go first? Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's your heavyweight champion from Witch Nigga, California, a.k.a. the janitor because I be watching niggas, a.k.a. The prodigal son. There we go. I'll go with that. Because I haven't been here in a long time.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say the man with reduced sleeves on.
Oh, yeah. Because over here in Los Angeles, we don't have snow.
They just have dreams and prosperity, motherfuckers.
I mean, I don't know about there's dreams. I don't know about prosperity.
I don't think so.
Well, last up in that list up,
it's your boy Jordan, aka JXBot, aka returning from hibernation, but to only go back into hibernation again, right?
Real.
Yeah.
All right. Now you know who we are. Press X Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. That is right. 2 out of the 3 of us is dealing with sickness. So sickness and illness, right? Illness is like way worse than sickness, right?
Yeah,
I feel like it's a tomato situation.
Yeah. Like you have an illness and I'm sick. It can mean the same thing if it wants to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like when someone says, "Oh, that person has the illness," I'm like, "Oh, they're not recovering from that." It's like,
illness sounds more.
They have a disease or chronic illness. There's levels of illnesses. So you have a chronic illness.
Yeah, and I feel like if someone is saying like, "Oh, I'm sick," it's like, "Oh, I just got a stuffy nose." Like,
you could be a situation where they're trying to be candid about it. Like if they do have something that's more terminal, like they're sick, they're not going to say it's like they have cancer or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, sick is just general, like they're not well.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's all semantics.
Look at that. We figured out the difference between sickness and illness, huh? Well, you can learn all that and more on this podcast, guys. You know what I mean? Because we are live on YouTube we're gonna figure it out, okay? Because we got life things happening. We're just juggling things. We're just juggling things. All right. But we are live on YouTube right now. So if you caught us now, perfect. Don't forget you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and the notification bell. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the podcast services you are tuned in on. And if you want, you can join our Discord by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. So do that. All right. Now you know who we are and where to go and how to do the things. Let us jump into the gaming news. Number 1.
Woo!
Xbox came out and had their Xbox Developer _Direct, because that underscore is so important. And they showed a good number of games. We're gonna talk about those games. Actually, you know what? Let's do the impressions first, and then while we're talking with the impressions, I can pull up the game. So,
you're smart.
Jordan, since you are Xbox, I feel like it's only right for you to give us your impressions first.
At first I was kind of hard on it, because I gave like a 7 out of 10. But looking back at it, it's like, well, maybe like because last year was just so strong in terms of games. It's like, oh man, like coming for like for the whole industry, following up, with another year is going to be difficult. And also like there's still questions about like that main slate of games, like your Fable, like your Gears, because people keep talking about that. But looking at it again, it's like, well, this is compared to everyone else, at least for now, because we still have a lot of year left. I think out of the big three, this is a pretty strong lineup that goes into the summer and fall, and there's a good amount of variety here. I think the biggest one, of course, was Indiana Jones, but Microsoft is pretty good at the first person focus. Hellblade, is getting a good, like, I think spring is a good time for it, and it's reasonably priced too, because like there's most games will have half a mind to say fuck $70 and we'll still pay for it, but they're saying, hey, it's an 8-hour experience and we're gonna make sure it's adjusted as such. So that was respectful to the fans. In terms of like the diversity, Aura looks fun. I'm a big strategy game person. And there's a lot of strategy. Like there's so many strategy games for us games out there, and I'm interested to see how Aura takes it up. And yeah, like that Vicious game, I didn't get enough looking. I did not get enough absorption of that game to have a proper take. But people said it looks nice, and they're trying to tap into that Japanese market. So yeah, that was a Square Enix game, right?
Yes.
I see. So like, yeah. So Phil Spencer, he's at Square Enix's headquarters saying, "Give us some of your games, bro. Like we got to tap into the Japanese market." So this is a very deliberate strategy for them. So I give it an 8 out of 10. Like it should be a fun year.
You got a whole point up, huh? Okay, that's cool. Marcus?
I probably I didn't see the full direct, like obviously live, but I did like look at the games in hindsight, and I'd say as a whole probably around like a 7.
Yeah.
Like as a showcase for what's to come, I think it was solid. But I had to kind of like weigh it on a curve of like things that I'm interested in, and
yeah.
I'm of the games that were displayed, the one that I'm really interested in is Hellblade, obviously. Because I'm not really into first-person RPGs. I understand their place in history, but that's not what I'm into personally when it comes to RPGs. I like to kind of see my character and everything. Not a huge strategy gamer, though. The what was the game called? Aura, like it looked interesting. I'm not going to play it, but it looks interesting. It looks like something that would be an interesting addition to strategy gamers. And then Indiana Jones, I don't really care about Indiana Jones. Like my Indiana Jones is Uncharted. So,
well,
like,
you know what I was about to say, because we
but
have Uncharted
Baker,
and Tomb Raider. Like, how are we gonna? Because if they had made Indiana Jones third person, a lot of people would have been like, Uncharted clone.
Right, that as well, because like the fact that it's first person is, I get differentiating it from, like you said, Tomb Raider and Uncharted, but that's a choice. That was an interesting choice for Indiana Jones. And then also, like I said, I'm just not really that into Indiana Jones. It's one of those properties that I respect as like its place in film history more than I like them. So yeah, I mean, Hellblade's the only thing that really like stood out to me, and I appreciate what they're doing with the price, because the first game I believe was also $50, and even though this seems like it's going to be a bigger game than the first Hellblade, it's still very kind of linear and very narrative focused. So it wouldn't make sense from what they've shown to make it a full $70 game, especially if it's only going to be 8 hours. So, I respect Ninja Theory for doing that, and I'm super excited for it. So, yeah, as a whole, I'd say probably like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I am. I'm actually like right in between you two. Like I'm at a 7.5 out of 10. I think separating my like personal feelings on the games, because none of these games are really for me, but like just watching it as a person who loves playing video games and just likes pretty things, I think what they showed was really, really good. But I don't think it was great. I think Indiana Jones, I like Marcus, I'm not a super fan of Indiana Jones, but I think what they showed is really cool. I had to watch it a second time to like really get all of the stuff, all of the details that I missed the first round. And I think
Machine
that's gonna
Games,
be
their strength is first person shooters too.
exactly, yeah, because they've made Wolfenstein games before, and like
Right.
that franchise is just known for having like just great story moments and all that stuff.
Except for the last one, Youngblood. That was that. I'll talk about Youngblood.
Yeah. So I'm pretty confident that that game is like Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. Cool. Interesting name. I am confident that it's going to be a great story. I hope. Well, I mean, they've already put the game. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna start playing the trailer, and we're just gonna go from there. They've already put the game in between, what, the Last Crusades and the one. I don't know too much about the Indiana.
The only Indiana Jones movie I've watched was Curse of the Crystal Skull, like the worst one.
That's the only one.
That's the only one I watched all the way through, boy. Yeah.
Ooh,
I believe it's in between the second movie and the third movie. I think that's where this game is placed.
So the Last Crusade and Temple of Doom, I think, is the third one.
I thought it was like, was it Raiders of the Lost Ark? Is that the first one? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is the first one. I think I think Temple of Doom's the second one, and the third one is Last. You know what? Either way. Yeah.
We're fighting Nazis. We're fighting Nazis. Keep away from the Nazis.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You're fighting Nazis in this game. I think, like, in terms of his presentation, I think it's really, really cool. The thing that makes Indy different from, Tomb Raider and Uncharted is his whip, and they're using it in this game.
The fucking slave masters.
Yes. That's my thing. It's like the minute he hits a black person, everything's gonna change. Everything is going to change.
They were gonna do that.
They're gonna get real extra with that whip crack on that one. You're gonna get like special particle effects. It's gonna be.
No, we're only cracking
from what hit.
We're only cracking whips for the Nazis.
Exactly.
And that's what Andy does for research.
For research. So yeah, like I think Indiana Jones is really cool. I like the start of the trailer where he had the villain and he was like doing his like little speech or whatever. It felt very much so like a Far Cry where they like emphasize on the villains and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. The next thing, I'm gonna jump to the next trailer. Boom. It is that's a trailer. That's an ad. Whatever. The next thing is and the game that neither of you talked about is Avowed.
Like I said, I'm not really into first person RPGs, but
this is Obsidian's stopgap between now and Outer Worlds 2. Like that's their big one. Like this is like the like a little side project, little franchise trying to launch outside of Outer Worlds 2.
I think you're right about that. I
mean, dual wielding wands.
It's cool. It's cool. Like I think the first showing about like the first right?
Curcio.
So like the first showing of it, I was kind of like, oh no, this doesn't look that great. I think this was a better showing of the game, but I think ultimately it still wasn't that great of a showing for me. And it is, I think the question is like, well, how do you show a game like this where it is like multiple hours of you playing the game, like having a particular build and like having moments from using that build effectively and all that stuff, right? The thing that they did show was like a conversation tree or a conversation between two characters. And I think that is going forward, anytime you show a conversation, the industry is going to be like, oh, well, Baldur's Gate 3 did it better. And like, I hate the fact that that's going to be a comparison made to this game because they are two separate games, but that's just how it works. And
I mean, I'd say that even predating Baldur's Gate, like BioWare was the king of the conversation tree. And
Yeah.
so even that
Yeah.
was like the litmus test for any conversation tree since.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point. That's a really good point. So yeah, it's like I think Avowed is going to be a great game, and it's going to be a thing of like the people who love Skyrim are going to love this game. The people who are just interested in playing a game like this, they already know they're going to love this game. And it's just everyone else who's just like, all right, well, that's just a game. They're probably going to skip it, and that kind of sucks. But
it's what Microsoft wanted to like project itself this generation. Is like, you know, we are going in on the Western RPG. Like, I mean, and I'm not trying to feed into the West versus East type narrative, but we know there is a design component in terms of RPG in the style of Japanese developers and RPGs outside of Japan. You know, there's some that emulate that same style, but at least speaking on Avowed, like they're just trying to get into that first person immersive. Like in Cyberpunk's an RPG. That's first person too. So they're trying to feed and strengthen that.
I'll say, DJ, to your point though. I'll say to your point, the thing about like, okay, if this like is for fans of like Skyrim, or if you're already interested in this game, then you didn't need this to make you more interested in the game. I feel like so much of like advertising for something like this is based on how effective it would be for somebody who either didn't know about it or isn't interested in this type of game. And it's like, okay, can we swerve their perspective, or can we like make this appealing to them? And in that way, I'd say it did kind of fail on that respect, but because it was obviously going to work for the people it was going to work for, because that's just the way.
Well, Marcus, I think you're just articulating the point of Game Pass, right? It's like, it's coming to this system, and a lot of people that would not have given those games a chance. It's like, all right, well, let's see what this is about if they like it. I mean, there's no guarantee, but like without that paywall, I mean, like that like to a broader point, like this outside of the visions, like this was like a Game Pass showcase. Like that's what Microsoft is trying to do. It's like this is on all the games coming to Game Pass this year. Please don't unsubscribe. Please. don't do it.
Basically, yeah.
Contracts. So
only
one part of this.
One
part of the pie here.
The next game is Hellblade, and I think I'm not sure if I just said this in my head or if I posted it on one of our Discord channels, but like they are setting up Hellblade to be their like Last of Us.
Yeah.
And I think this is when this releases this year, this is going to be the best looking game, because like they have.
It looks real at some points. I was like, this looks photorealistic.
It is so impressive.
Even though it was super grainy, even though the stream was super grainy, I'm like, that looks real.
Yeah, and it's like it is a thing of just like, man, this looks great, this looks great, this looks great, and then we have to wait for the indie reveal. Like Indiana Jones looks good, but like, I think it's good that they decided to take a artistic route with that direction, the art direction, versus going for realism, because
you weren't gonna.
You can't put that next to Hellblade. Like, and I say all this, and like I'm super impressed with how this looked, and I know I'm just not going to play this game. Like, even if I had Xbox, like this is I don't do horror, guys. That's the thing that I don't do. And the whole voices in your head, like, nah, like I already have to deal with like London like creeping up on me sometimes, so I don't need extra. So.
It's like that video, like Jesus.
Yes. Like I don't need anything extra. I just don't need anything extra.
That's fair.
As Jordan was saying though, this is like, I think they did a great job with like, they had this direct, and they're like, oh, by the way, Hellblade is going to be $50, and it's going to be a shorter experience, but that's what we want. That's what we intended to begin with. So it's going to be around 8 hours, and it's just like, good. Put that out there now, so there's no question about. There's no like, I wonder how long this game's going to be. Like, we know now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
awesome. And
I mean, as someone who played the first Hellblade, like the graphics in that were really, really impressive, especially for the time. Like they still hold up pretty well. So Ninja Theory has been so like hell bent on exploring mocap and like photorealism and stuff like that, and toying around with format and the way that they can use outer stimuli to enhance a gameplay experience. So Hellblade 2 looking and feeling the way that it does is a labor of love, it seems. And you know, for those of you that have listened to the podcast for a while, like you'll remember that DJ and I had like a interview slash or it was like a Q&A slash review because I was the only one that kind of played the game and I was singing its highest praises. So yeah, this second game, if it can reach the heights just from a gameplay and narrative standpoint as the first game, it's going to be a game of the year contender, easy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because to Marcus, to your point, those types of games that get the nod, at least in terms of how the current review, like the structure. The current pot of reviewers, right? List of reviewers they have for it. Like those are the types of games that get those nods, or like those third-person narrative games. So Microsoft's like, this has to be our year. I swear to God, those pictures like in the seat, you're just like.
And again, even come here. That is 8 hours. Like that is so appealing to that pot of game reviewers that are going to be reviewing games for Game of the Year. It's just like, they're setting this game up to win in like so many ways. The next game that I want to quickly talk about is there we go. Aria, the History Untold. Yeah. Shout out to this company, Oxide Games. They are located in Baltimore, Maryland, and they are a team from the Civilization people. I forget.
Treyarch, right?
No.
Or Firaxis. Firaxis.
Firaxis, yeah. And Firaxis is also
Firaxis is in Virginia.
No, it's in Maryland.
Bethesda. Okay.
No. The Firaxis is like northern, like around Towson area, because I actually visited their studios. Back when I was in college, way back when. Way back when. I'm not that old. How dare you, DJ? Don't do that. So yeah, this game is is a 4X game, so it's like Civilization. It looks cool. I think it's super pretty. It's one of those games where it's like, you love this, and like, for those people who know they love this, like Jordan, you're gonna play this thing, and it's also gonna be on Game Pass. So like, that's awesome. Is it going to pull new people in? I don't know, but again, it's on Game Pass, so they can just give it a try. And I think, as Jordan was saying, like that is the beauty about Game Pass when it comes to these games. Just like, if you have an inkling of, I might want to give that a try, and you have Game Pass, then there's nothing stopping you other than your hard drive space. So just do that.
That's the thing. Game Pass has a lot of strategy games. They have if it's for strategy game fans, a Game Pass subscription is worth it. So many, and then this is like one of their first party ones they're trying to make themselves. So
right, which is cool though. And then the last game which was their kind of like, well, this wasn't their actual last game, but this was the game that was like, oh, we have this other thing. Check this out, and it's Visions of Mana.
Yeah,
that's a Japanese pronunciation.
Mana. Yeah.
This is interesting. So, I think this presentation was cool. For me, it's kind of because I played Secret of Mana like years ago. I played it on my computer through an emulator, so it was just
classic.
Right. And looking at this being the thing that Xbox got from Square Enix makes me think that they're not going to get Final Fantasy. Like at all, because I feel like if they got Final Fantasy, now would be the time to show that they got Final Fantasy. And
that's a good point.
Like, interesting. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, because they've been marketing Rebirth hard ever since the year started. So it would make sense to put it here if they had it.
Yeah, and it's still an uphill battle, or those contracts. Maybe longer than anticipated.
I think it's the contract. I think the Sony contract is probably for the full Final Fantasy VII remake game. and that's broken into these different games. Like I think that's what the contract is. And that's why they haven't gotten Final Fantasy remake yet, or Xbox hasn't gotten.
I see.
Because
So you saying Xbox ain't about to get the new Final Fantasy 7 games until like 2030?
Yeah,
probably. I mean, at that point, it's just like, well, we're not gonna spend the money on that. So it's like, yeah, like that's what I kind of think of when I look at this, and it's like, oh, this is cool, but like, I was kind of hoping that their Square thing would have been like a Final Fantasy, because like, oh, if they got that, then like, oh, that's a killer thing, but it's not. But that's not take away from Vision of Mana, because this does look really cool, and like, this is going to be a huge game for them, because this is them taking that step into the Japanese market, and they need to do that. So that looks cool. Yeah, so that was pretty much it for the developer direct. Again, I gave it 7.5. I think it was pretty strong. I think it's a good way to start the year. Their cadence so far, being the second one, they've only done one a year. They might do a second one. We don't know. But yeah, I think this was a good showing.
It's hard to compete. It's hard to compete with the shadow drop that was last year. That was Hi-Fi Rush.
Exactly.
Like that was a big thing. Yeah. People were hoping for another one, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they needed to do something to make sure people remember the developer direct, and I think dropping a game as strong as Hi-Fi Rush was the best move they could do at the time, and it was a good move.
Remember the name.
So, yeah. So number 2.
This
is also a Game Pass win in a weird way, but kind of a perfect way. Palworld sells over 1 million copies in just 8 hours as Steam servers struggle to cope with its launch. This comes from IGN by way of, Wesley Yingpool. Palworld has sold over 1 million copies. Let me play this trailer right quick. Pop this trailer. I'll do that. Has sold over 1 million copies in just 8 hours after launch. Developer Pocket Pair has said, that's an awesome Pocket Pair. Huh. Palworld dubbed Pokemon with Guns launched this morning, January 19th, and quickly shot up to the top of Steam's best-selling games list and broke into Steam's top 4 most played games list by concurrent players. At the time of this article's publication, Palworld has overtaken Battle Royale PUBG into third place with 365 million concurrent players and a very positive user review rating. Palworld's true concurrent player count will be much higher, that the game's also available on Xbox and Windows PC via Gamepass. The huge influx of players at launch has caused server problems, however. Pocket Pair and Palworld servers had become unstable, which may cause connection issues. We're working to resolve this ASAP, Pocket Pair tweeted. So, we saw this game a couple years ago, and I feel like the industry kind of wrote it off as like one of those like Asian games that's like, all right, that looks like a weird mix of everything. We'll see what happens with that. Because we still also had Dokevi, that other child game where you had like So to me, like, I put those two in the same bracket and kind of put that on a shelf somewhere in the back of my brain.
Right.
And it's so crazy that this thing came out and everyone was like, oh no, this is actually an interesting game. You can capture people.
You know what it was? it was Shell Shock from it was Hell Shock. I'm sorry, it was Shell Shock from the mistake that Xbox made with Baldurs Gate, because there's opportunity for Baldurs Gate to be on Game Pass, and before then Genshin Impact, like they passed on Genshin Impact when that came out. So yeah, dude, like Phil was just like not again.
Right.
No, he was like not again.
He's like, we lose money on it. It's fine.
Like not again, bro.
Palworld was one of those things where I was like, if this comes out, it's a license to print money, because it's Pokemon with blickies.
Yeah.
Like, that's, people are gonna want to play that. It's just a no-brainer. So The fact that it actually came out is more of the surprise than anything.
Yeah. Like the interesting part about the game is, so the way that they differentiate themselves from Pokemon is that you have, it's like 111 creatures to capture. It is set up
You're not
Fortnite's.
trafficking. They're not humans. Let's be clear.
They're not
little
humans,
Pokemon.
but you can capture humans and have them work for you. That's the thing
What,
you
in
can
this
do in this
game?
game as well. Yeah. So
I didn't know
you remember
that.
the first trailer where there was flashes
Wow.
of the PAL, they're called PALs. The flashes of the PALs like working in a factory producing guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's sort of the automation that you want to achieve in the game. But
But
you
wait,
can
but
put
are they?
people in
Do you?
instead
Oh,
of the
okay.
PALs.
Okay. But
So, yeah.
are you hiring people or you're actually capturing people?
No, you're
capturing people.
Pikachu.
Oh,
Pikachu,
really?
get the
Shit.
strap, and then they go and they hold people up and say, "You're gonna work in my bullet factory, or
That
you're
is
gonna fucking
crazy.
die."
How is this game legal, bro?
So yeah, man. So
Okay.
everyone is like, wait, how is this allowed to go? And Nintendo's not like lowering up or anything right now. It's so crazy, but that is the
They're
thing that's
probably
happening right now
amused.
for this game.
They're probably amused.
Man, we know how Nintendo is.
You're right.
But,
Actually,
like,
they're not amused by anything.
Yeah.
No, but I also feel like this is a proper kick in the pants for them to understand that people want a third person open world Pokemon game that looks good, that runs better than the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because that, although that game was fun, it ran like a fly running on a piece of tape.
And also runs 10 times, 100 times better than Pokemon Arceus.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see what happens here, but like this is just good news for Palworld. Pocket Pair, awesome name. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this, but this is crazy. Again, the thing also to remember is that, you know, Steam concurrent player counts, although they are cool to look at the first couple of days, they usually taper off within a month or two. So it's a thing of just keeping this in your back pocket to see how it's doing in like 3 months, to know that, okay, this is actually really a thing that is like staying strong. So there's also that to remember. Number 3, Microsoft confirms plans to release Xbox first-party games across all platforms, including PlayStation. This comes from Twisted Voxel by way of, website is loading, Mohammed Al-Bari. Okay, so speaking during during Microsoft's annual annual shareholders meeting, as well as in recent Bloomberg interview, CEO Satya Nadella confirmed the company's plans to release Xbox first-party games across all platforms, including PlayStation and Nintendo consoles. He stated this in response to a question regarding the health and future of Xbox. In his response, Nadella said that Microsoft is very, very excited about everything that's going on in gaming, especially with the closing of the Activision Blizzard King acquisition deal. According to him, the software giant now has the ability to do what it has always set out to do, which is to build great games and deliver them to players across all platforms, which includes Xbox and consoles, the PCs. Xbox and consoles, the PCs, and now even including mobile gaming and cloud gaming. During the during the Bloomberg interview, Nadella specifically mentioned that he wants Microsoft to be a good publisher for both PlayStation and Nintendo. He stated that prior to the Activision Blizzard King acquisition, Microsoft was number 3 or number 4, and has now post acquisition. What's the fourth one?
So like, it's probably Tencent. Tencent's number 1, Sony, Nintendo, but Xbox. And Nintendo
Publishers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are the
I was
big
thinking
ones.
like PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox. Okay, all right.
You're thinking consoles. I got you.
And also, like, it's probably like Embracer there, you know, running around.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah. All right. So now, post acquisition, he believes that the company has a chance to become, chance of being a good publisher on Sony, Nintendo, PCs, and Xbox. Okay, this is cool. We were talking about this before the cast, and it's like, I think back in 2022, maybe when did they get Bethesda?
They got 2021. Like I think it's 2021 was when they announced it. And then later that year they had like the roundtable with Todd Howard and everyone. Okay. Pete Hines.
Gotcha. So back in 2021 when they got,
and then 2022 ABK was announced.
Okay, yeah. So back in 2021 when they picked up Bethesda, people were asking, okay, like, are you going to make these games exclusive and so on and so forth? And Xbox put out a graphic that said like certain games will be exclusive, certain games will be multi-platform, and then there's like a gray area where they'll decide if it's going to be multi-platform or exclusive. And for the fact that they're saying like, yeah, like all, we're going to try to put our games on multiple platforms, it's like, yeah, they said they were going to do that, guys. Like it's weird that everyone's like shocked by this announcement when, like, I guess they just kind of forgot about that graphic because like when they bought Bethesda, I think because the question was if Starfield was going to be exclusive or was going to be multi-platform. They said it was going to be exclusive, and then on one side it was Starfield that was exclusive. On the other side, I think it was Minecraft that was multi-platform because like it makes sense that Minecraft be multi-platform. And now
it's already on other platforms.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like now they got like Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, all the ABK games, Candy Crush. They're not going to make Candy Crush fucking only available to Game Cloud people or
only available to Android and Android or Apple
exactly.
Phones, right?
Oh, so can you imagine that? Like Apple people get the fuck out.
So here's the truth. Here's what's really happening. Like here's what's really happening here. Xbox is doing their best not to piss off the regulators. At any point in time, the Justice Department can come in, open up an investigation, and see whether or not any of their dealings or their businesses is anti-competitive. So it's like this direct, like, so like, a lot of people say, Xbox is about to become third party and all this other stuff. Like, I'm like, like what indicator are you using for that? Because, like Nintendo has games on, well, not on PC. Nintendo's like probably the most purest first party, platform out there. But,
because they're the granddaddy.
Like MLB The Show, published by Sony, is on Gamepass, and Sony's trying to push Helldivers and kind of like all these other live stream service games onto PC, which is a platform opposite to theirs. The issue with the conversation with Xbox is, like how many games are going to show up on other platforms. It's like a timeless association with it, but like they know that the ABK deal has put them in the first place. By the time we end the fiscal year and see the exit reports in terms of revenue, they just inherited the revenue that ABK was, and that's going to put them like right on next to Sony in terms, like that's all that deal did. And
we're not talking about it right now, or we're not going to talk about in this cask of time, but like just to go about like they put them in first place, like Call of Duty. Although Call of Duty was hammered in X, Y, and Z, it was a best-selling game in December. It is it's number 2, like in terms of top-selling games, and number 1 is Hogwarts. And it's just like they are fine. Like you saying that they're gonna be in first place, like they're making money over money right now. So
no matter how much people shit talk Call of Duty, it's still going to move.
It prints money.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the main goals there. Like this is what Sony wants in a way. Like Sony wants that titan of a game and not have to worry about their Spider-Man, their Last of Us, and those games performing. Like if it was a different dimension and Sony had the revenue opportunity that Microsoft has, it would have been a done deal. It would have been over. I'm just so amazed at how well Sony does with what they have compared to other companies. And Microsoft has to buy their way out of being shit. And it's like,
I feel like Sony really just was able to build a level of goodwill. And that's the only reason, like, because during a period of time where people were starting to worry about the importance of single party and like, or first party games and exclusives, Sony put their like whole ass into being like, all right, we still want to put out quality AAA first party experiences. And that's the only reason I feel like they're still able to operate on the way that they are, because otherwise like Microsoft has the capital to be just like lording over everything.
So, and remember, it was subtle. It was like between 2011 and 2012 we started. Remember, like Battlefield 3 and those DLCs coming to PlayStation first, and then Call of Duty. Like it was very smart. But they're like, Microsoft, you are no longer the first person shooter console. It is our platform, and it is still PlayStation the number one place to play first person shooters. Because
the thing to remember though is that like PlayStation has been doing this for a long time. So it is a thing of experience and understanding. Like our whole bread and butter is a games re-release. So we need to make sure those games are tight. And that's where they put all their money in, and it just happens to work out that they make a lot of money back from that. But it is a thing of the market now changing.
Well, I mean, remember, like with that Insomniac leak, we know the margins are tight, and it was Sean Layden who was saying like we need to figure this out sooner than later because there's a plateauing effect going on right now, and like either you put your devices on your software on different devices, or you sell more hardware. I mean, like my TV updated. I can play Xbox games on my Samsung television now. I'm not doing that because that's stupid, but it makes no sense. It's just dumb as hell. It's the stupidest fucking thing I ever thought about. I was like, what the fuck?
Your Xbox Series X look at you like, what are you doing? Just.
I mean, it was crazy. Like,
I'm right here.
It was so subtle. Like it was on my home bar on like in the the little settings bar or whatever. It was like, do you want to launch Starfield? I was like, what? And it's like, yeah, there's Starfield. It's like, oh shit, this is crazy.
Your Xbox is like, it just turned me around. Don't make me watch if you're gonna do it.
And the one thing I will say, what is cool is how asynchronous the cloud saves are. Because I could have started off right where I was on my console, on my TV, and my phone, and my computer.
Oh,
like
cool.
that's still a pretty. That's what they want to do. Everything is Game Pass. Yeah. Everything's Game Pass.
True. Yeah. And then, like, just to get back to the article, I feel like them doing this and then saying like, like we want to be a good publisher. It's like that kind of makes sense if your strategy is to push this service. Like you're gonna have to start publishing games, like technically publishing games for the service, and eventually the whole console thing is going to just kind of fall off because the publishing side is going to make more money than producing these consoles, keeping these consoles going, the R&D for the hardware for the consoles. It just have other people do that, and you put your games on those consoles and have people buy the games, or get into the Game Pass service.
The console market is shrinking compared, and I mean, like we saw a bit of a blink of that last year with the iPhone 15 and its ability to play Resident Evil. So it's like, either we get on top of it now than later. I'm not trying to say consoles are going to go extinct, but you want to have some type of apparatus when when it starts slowing down, cooling off.
I think the console shrinking thing is, I don't know if we're there yet. I think we might need another, because like the iPhone 15 being able to play Resident Evil, it's like, I think that feels more so like a proof of concept than like a
the same way cloud gaming was back in 2019. I mean, it happens fast. It happens fast, man. It happens fast.
Yeah, we're at least a few years out from console panic, I think.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into this
my brain. No, Joel, put the golf club down. I don't know what happened. Is that what happened?
Before we get into this new game about or from the former people of Witcher 3 and Jesus. Projects. I keep saying I want to say CD Project Red. It's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Hey, do us a solid. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you are listening, leave us a review on whatever podcast service you are currently tuned in on. Do it. Do it now. Thank you. All right. Number 4. Former Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 devs officially revealed their first game. And yeah, it sure looks like vampires. This comes from
Redfall.
Blade, maybe.
I was thinking Blade, yeah. This comes from PC Gamer by way of Andy Chalk. Yep. Okay. So the name of the new studio is called Rebel Wolves, and their debut game is entitled Dawnwalker. While no details have been revealed at this point, this new image sure is evocative. The silhouetted figure emerging, almost forming from a sulfurous cloud soared above his head, claw-like fingers extended, all of it laid on top of a blood-red background, just screams vampire. So they put a W instead of a V. I feel like that's a typo, but maybe it's not, and I just don't understand the joke. But I think it's a tooth joke, right? You can't say V, so you're a vampire.
I don't think that was supposed to be a joke. I think it's a typo.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a thing that they need to fix on their articles. PC Gamer, you should do that right now. We called you out. Do it right now. Anyways, or perhaps a guy who hunts and kills vampires for fun and money. He does have kind of a Geralt look about him, doesn't he? Question mark. So there's always a thing of the industry kind of having the same idea at the same time and just kind of being like they operate like that.
Yep.
Because we just got the Blade thing.
Yep.
And now we have this Dawnwalker thing, and it's like, man, I wonder if they were like, oh no, when they saw the Blade announcement.
The industry is just a giant game of telephone, and people just filter all these ideas and be like, okay, you can copy my work, but just don't make it obvious.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say because it's just a picture, and like, it could be interesting. I mean, The Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and Cyberpunk 2077 has one of the best comeback stories of all time. But that's all I ask is it's not first person. That's all I ask. Like, that's all. Just make it Witcher 3 with vampire hunting, and I'll be good.
That's the hope. Here's the thing, right? We got a teaser trailer from Blade last year, and we're getting concept art for this game Dawnwalker this year. It's very possible that these two games can release in the same year. it's very possible.
Yeah.
It might be like months apart from each other, but like they're both going to be in development, and it depends. I guess it depends on the kind of games that these are going to end up being. We don't know what genre.
Actually, no, because they might. Yeah, because we don't know what genre game this is going to be. But now that I think about it, if it is also a third-person experience, because Blade is going to be a third-person experience, and then Dawnwalker and Blade is known as the Daywalker. Like it's a lot of yep. Damn.
So put a pin on it for 2027. What's 2024? 2027. Yeah, we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Number 5. Baldurs Gate 3 made more than $650 million on PC last year.
Rest in peace, Shadow Heart.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, I forgot. I was like, wait, my Shadow Heart didn't die. Oh, that's right.
I'm just saying, I just didn't talk to her that much. She's like, yo, I really need this. I'm like, no, you don't. She's like, really? Oh, and I'm like, oh, my girlfriend's like, do we kill her? I'm like, yeah, we gotta kill her. Sorry. And then I went back to camp, and I was like, yeah, put on his underwear. You're Shadow Heart now. Put on his wig.
You're Shadow Heart now. Here's a disguise kit.
He was like, why does this other have SH on it? Like, don't ask any questions.
Shut up and put it on.
It's for Saturday. Yeah.
It's for it's for put on the underwear.
Gail, just shut up and bless us, okay? Just shut up and bless us. That's why you're here. You bless. You bless now.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I totally forgot about that. But yes, this comes to us from Tech for Gamers by way of Abion. I think that's it. So 2023 will undoubtedly become one of the best years for the gaming industry. All platforms, whether console or PCs, found success last year, with the latter particularly seeing a lot of interest. The PC market is already bigger than all consoles combined in revenue. Last year, it grew over $9 billion, an 18% year-on-year increase from 2022, thanks to massive releases like Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 led the charts with a revenue of $657 million after it became one of the biggest launches on the platform this year. Hogwarts Legacy followed closely in second place, and Starfield became the third biggest release. There's not much to say because it's just numbers, but like that is crazy. That
the PC market's huge.
PC market is huge. I think it's maybe it's not crazy because we never get like numbers in full about how much these games are selling unless it's like a leak like we got from Insomniac.
Yeah.
So for Baldur's Gate to get $650 million, and I think this is just pulled from Steam, so we don't know what the console sales for this was. Mm-hmm. Like, that game is doing incredibly well for being a CRPG, which is a computer RPG. Like, this is Dungeons and Dragons. Like, there's not even really a tutorial in this too much, really. Like, it is a dense game.
There's a opening level, but that's about it in terms of tutorial.
Just on a beach with a vampire.
Yeah, like you have to learn as you go. And the fact that this is getting so much money, again, there's no microtransactions in this game. There's no DLC in this game. So it's just people buying the game. It's like, that's insane. That is so insane.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's really a lightning in the bottle situation where like D&D in pop culture has had a resurgence. And so Baldur's Gate coming out now, it really had a chance to thrive in the way that it probably wouldn't have in previous years. But D&D has gotten so popular with modern culture. And then on top of that, due to the fact that you can mod on PC in a way that you can on consoles, that also lends itself to people wanting to get this game on PC just for the mod capabilities out there.
Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Like, it is just so impressive that this game is doing well. And then I was going to say that, like, it shouldn't be astounding to me, but it's still astounding that Hogwarts is still just number one. Like, I wonder if that's going to bleed into this year as well, because it just keeps on selling, and it's just insane. And then
it might,
yeah, right, because I feel like people just gonna play the game. And then like shout out to Starfield being number 3. And again, like it's one of those things where like Starfield is available on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you can just get it on Game Pass. But people are just paying money and just downloading this thing on or getting it on PC. And it's just like I also think it's because of the modding and the what did this man? What is this?
Don't worry about it. It's all right. Let's put it up there later.
This person just birthed their whole colon. I don't know what that was. Anyways,
I was trying to keep it together.
The way the nurse is holding it like she was a baby.
They don't get paid enough, man.
This is the result of all that food you ate.
This is why you need to join the Discord.
Exactly. Yeah, you totally missed it. You didn't get to see while we're laughing. It's just great jokes like that. All right. Yeah, and then like Starfield making what $235 million this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that again, that's just on Steam. Yeah, it's great. Like these games are making money and they're doing their things they need to do to keep it going. So yeah, number 6 kind of works in tandem with number 5. Baldur's Gate lead says subscription makes it harder to get good content.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a whole thing talking about so he, as in the CEO of
Larian.
Larian, there you go. I had his name but it disappeared. Sven Vinke, Sven Vicky, I think.
Sure.
So yeah, he was responding to Ubisoft director of subscriptions, Philippe Tremblay, I think that's right. When he had said gamers are going to have to get used to not owning games. And of course, this guy is a director of subscriptions, so of course he's going to say a statement
Exactly.
that is
and also
to his
Ubisoft.
job.
It's also Ubisoft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a thing of just like, all right. So Larian Studio CEO Sven was responding to this and said, "You won't find our games on a subscription service," which is kind of interesting because I think last week there was a news article about how Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 was accidentally on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, was that, if that was a mistake, like that, how?
That's a big
I don't even
mistake.
understand. Yeah, like I don't even understand how that worked. But anyways, he says you won't find the games on Game Pass, and his quote is, "Wherever the future of games look like, content will always be king. But it's going to be a lot harder to get good content if subscription becomes a dominant model and a select group gets to decide what goes to market and what not. Direct from developer to players is the way." Which he's not wrong. Like, I think again, it's I wanted to pair this story with Baldur's Gate 3 making so much money, and I think if your game makes a ton of money, you have options. But if your game doesn't make money, you don't have options. So it's just like they've made a great game that they don't have to worry about putting it on Game Pass. They don't have to worry about that one-time check from Microsoft. But other games don't have the ability to, just to believe that their game's going to sell that well, so they don't take that risk.
Well, that's the problem, though, is because this goes back to when Baldur's Gate 3 came out and it caused that stir in the industry where it shook all the developers. It's just like, it's a matter of time. It's that Venn diagram of like fast or quality. It's like, do you want this to come out fast or do you want it to come out good? And Larian Studios put a lot of time and effort to make sure that this game came out like as complete as it could. I mean, it still had bugs, but like it came out as a full, complete experience. And a lot of games aren't doing that anymore. So of course, they're going to bank on the subscriptions because they're not putting out a full experience.
Well, I think there can be a world where both exist, right? Because like it's not like these games that come to Game Pass aren't being sold outside of it, or you can't buy it independently. I think he's coming from a place of like sand into diamonds is what I will call it. It's like the strongest get approved, and even there are some instances where a game of amazing quality gets approved, but still doesn't perform well. So, like I think he's speaking from a very specific perspective. Like Baldur's Gate 3 was able to kill it, but then you have these behemoths like Call of Duty, like Hogwarts, or like you have like these giant games which have like thousands of developers attached to it, and those smaller games. He doesn't begrudgingly say that subscription services don't have a opportunity, or like he recognizes that they do give smaller developers opportunities, like the one in Baltimore. So it's hard. I think we still exist in a world where both are available. I still think you can buy your DVD while having Netflix, I guess. But you know, like there is a strengthening of that, and we do need to remain cognizant of the loss of true ownership of a product, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, Xbox has, you know, at least there's like its architecture. It allows for people to play older games, but you know, like games are delisted. All right, games are delisted all the time, and it gets super expensive. You know, yeah. So I understand what he's saying. You know.
Yeah. It is a thing of like, you know, them being a developer, they also have to watch their own backs because they don't want to. If they're in a position to say like, hey, look, no, we understand that, you know, Game Pass is a strong thing, but like we don't want to do that because we think we can make more money than what Game Pass would provide. Like they're going to say that because at the end of the day, they need money to go.
Well, and they did
survive.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because
they're talking from the ones like they're on top of the mountain saying, "Get rich, motherfucker."
Yeah, that is another aspect of it. Is they're giving this announcement from the winner's podium. Like I don't know for sure if he would have had. I'm not entirely sure.
We're going to game for 13 years. God damn it. For 3 presidential terms, for 4 presidential terms, and then get back to us.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that energy would have been there if the game would have flopped.
Altered.
So
yeah, right.
Like, well, like Alan Wake 2. To be honest, Alan Wake 2 is not meeting expectations based on what I'm hearing, and I game got all the awards. You know, Remedy is like,
that's
hey, Microsoft, remember we worked on Quantum Break together? A little bit of a delay.
Well, Alan, we'll move on, but like Alan Wake 2, I think the biggest problem with Alan Wake 2 in terms of its performance is it's a digital only release.
Oh yes.
And so a lot of people like were looking for it and they're like, where the hell is it? And it's only on digital.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point.
All right. Number 7. Naughty Dog director tips his hat to roguelike greats like Vampire Survivor, Hades, and Dead Cells for inspiring The Last of Us 2 remastered, no return mode. Okay, so this comes to us.
Ain't playing this fucking game.
By way of Jordan
Gerblick, yeah. My cousin, Jordan Gerblick.
Nailed it. So yeah, he's basically just, you know, as the title says, he's tipping the hat to the other great roguelike games. Yeah, because Last of Us Part 2's no
remaster.
Right, yeah, remaster. What's this called? No
return. No return.
Yeah. No return mode. Jesus, I just said it. Why did I forget it? Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
All right. Yeah, so the no return mode looks like, so okay, we just had God of War's Valhalla, which is their roguelike mode, and then we have this, and a lot of people are like kind of making comparisons X, Y, and Z, whatever, and it's just like, I get it because they're both roguelike modes, but they kind of operate differently. Yeah, like God of War is using it for story. This is just a mode that you're playing.
Yeah.
So
it is very tongue in cheek too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So did are any of you planning on playing this?
No.
No. I don't know. Like I'm the biggest Naughty Dog fan in this group, and even I'm kind of like, did we need this? Like,
but it was free. Like it's free, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, is it or $10? Is it free or $10?
No, it's if you have Last of Us 2, it's $10 for a remastered, and this mode comes with the remastered.
Okay. Well,
so it's not free.
Even then, it's still just like, it's one of those things where I remember when Last of Us Part 1 remake dropped, and there was that conversation of, is this needed? And in that, I could justify it due to it was a mostly ground up remake because it didn't change the gameplay that much. But like, I
and the
get
game came
what
out in
they
like
were
2013. It came out a long
exactly,
time ago.
and so it makes, and plus because they brought it up to graphic standards with part 2, I could see them justifying like, okay, people could play this game and then make a lateral
Going to
move
part 2.
into part 2.
Yep.
But this, I'm just kind of like, yeah, y'all are milking this. Like, yeah, this is like, I love y'all, Naughty Dog, but this is a bit much.
But it's. I mean, like, I'm not coming from any type of true investment. I'm not like a huge Last of Us fan in general, but like seeing Ellie in a spacesuit running around is pretty goddamn goofy.
It's like I can see the appeal, especially if you're like interested in it, because I mean they did drop that like you'll be able to play as Joel in this, and we all know what happened to Joel in the actual story. Like you didn't really get to play as Joel in this Last of Us 2 style of gaming. So like I could see like the appeal, and then especially if you're into roguelikes, this is also just, more incentive, but it still feels kind of inconsequential, especially due to the fact that unlike Valhalla, this has no story resonance, so it's just kind of a thing that's there. So,
Yeah.
I saw that Joel was very durable to melee. I was like, that's fucked up. That's fucked. Like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, that's just like, wow.
I mean, in Joel's defense, he is durable to melee. He's not durable to get his knee blown off by a shotgun.
It was just a golf club was super effective, you know.
4
right. So yeah, like I think this mode is a cool mode. I think if you look back on the PlayStation exclusives, they have been doing this in a fashion since Ghost of Tsushima, because they released the Legends.
Oh yeah, because of Legends.
And then wait, no, Spider-Man would be the first, because Miles Morales Spider-Man came out before Ghost, right? The first Spider-Man, that's 2018, right?
Yeah, the first Spider-Man came,
Okay, yeah, so yeah, like Spider-Man started with the Miles Morales was like big little expansion or whatever.
But that was like a full-on like
exactly right.
Yeah.
So I feel like what I'm trying to get at is that like it seems that PlayStation has been, or Sony has been, playing around with this kind of like you got a big exclusive and then like a small thing that happened after. And I think like Miles was a thing that worked for them, but probably cost them a lot of money. And then they're like, all right, well, can we pare that down a little bit? And then you have Ghost and the Legends mode, which was an online thing, probably cost them a good chunk of change. Then they were like, all right, well, we're going to do DLC for Horizon, which is going to be a story content. And then I think between God of War and Last of Us No Return mode, I think I like that they're doing this. I just don't want this to be the thing that happens all the time. I would like for them to be able to pick like, all right, we'll do DLC, we'll do an expansion, or like a little mode thing that we can release afterwards.
Yeah, because I'll say up until this point with No Return mode, everything else that's happened felt necessary to a degree. Like, okay, Miles Morales is actually a full-on story expansion to the Spider-Man game, and it introduces Miles as his own playable character. Cool. The Ghost of Tsushima Legends, like there is a story plot through that, and it comes with the Icky Island thing as well. Cool.
Yeah.
Valhalla, or the DLC for Horizon, also story content. Even Valhalla, roguelike mode, but story content. This is literally just an added mode, and I feel like it only exists because Factions fell apart. Because I feel like Factions was going to be that added content for Last of Us 2, but since that didn't happen, they're just like, well, let's just do this thing.
Yeah, Factions was gonna be something very big, but you know,
that's a great point.
Shit happens. Bungie happens. Yeah. Just like put that shit back.
Oh, Bungie definitely did happen, and they're probably kicking themselves for that one. I'll tell you what. Anyways, that has been the gaming news. Now let us quickly talk about the games that you two have been playing, because I've just been playing the same stuff I talked about last week. So mine is a couple of games.
John, do you Jesus, John. Jordan, do you want to just go through real quick, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll go through real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing Alan Wake 2, and I'm a huge fan of Alan Wake games. When the first one came out back in 2010, so it's been a good 13 years since that one came out, and I played the remaster just to refresh myself, but I never played it ever again since. I mean, like, so the first one wasn't that scary. The first one was very much so like an action, like third person shooter in a way, but like horror inspired. But it wasn't scary, you know. Like the enemies weren't hard, even the harder. Well, I play like normal difficulty. And in terms of the premise, if you've seen like Twin Peaks or The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone, it's like that, you know. And if you played Control, you know that they exist in the same universe, because Control is about the bureau that handles that stuff, those paranormal, alien, unexplained things, and helps control those, you know, imbalances in our reality. And you play Control, you know that Alan Wake is going to be, you know, like the DLC. Then the remake, the remaster came out, and all leading up to Alan Wake 2, which takes place right at it's weird. Like it takes place 10 years after the game too. And you know, like Alan Wake's like this writer who is being influenced by this entity who's able to change the world with his, you know, typing with his books and stuff. And this entity is trying to, like, it's kind of like It in a way, like this paranormal entity is trying to use Alan's, you know, stories to get out into our reality, to get into our world, which he ends up doing. We have to fight him in the real world and shit. But in terms of gameplay, this is a lot like Resident Evil. You know, there's resource management. You get your little health kit. You got your bullet resource management, and over the side, you know, type shooting. But one thing that takes like one thing that feels different about this game is how much of like a detective mode it is. Like you don't have to solve everything, but you know, there's two characters you play. Alan Wake, who's in the quote unquote dark place, which is like the dimension that he's writing for. And there is what did you say?
The sunken place.
Yeah, the sunken place. Yeah, kind of. It's deep like an ocean. Is what he always says. It's dark. But then you have Saga Anderson, who exists in the real world, but his writing is influencing the real world. And you know, you have to like solve like throughout the story, you see like, you know, as Saga is becoming the protagonist of the story, what's real and what's not real. But the game's great. The gameplay is excellent. I mean, like at one point, it was like they kind of what they decided to do was reduce the enemy count and make enemies more hardy. Like that. Yeah. Like, so like in the last game, they're just throwing a whole bunch of fodder at you. You just shoot them with your shotgun, your pistol. It was super easy. But this time around, yeah, like and the flashlight mechanic is still there. But this time around, like you're dealing with like maybe 1, 2, or 3 enemies. And you know, like they'll rush you. You know, you have to knock them down. But yeah, no, I get why this game was nominated. Remedy, you know, like they are great at storytelling. This is an old man game. This is a game for old people. You know, like you just kind of just sit there and play it. It's like reading a book in a way. It's not super challenging. It's not. I mean, like. Okay. Like once you get the mechanics of it, like you just rush a motherfuckers with a shotgun and a hunting rifle and just like you know, get out of my way. It's not. I mean, like, you might get got a couple times, but you're not like, you know, you're like, all right, whatever. They like just one bad move that got me on that one, you know. So
it's easier than Control, is what you're saying.
Like it's a different type of game. Like Control is way more action focused. You know, this one's a lot more subtle. And like if you're not careful, you can't get got. Like you can't get rushed, you know. And there are some moments like they're throwing like 6, 7 enemies at you. Like fuck, all right, time to just dodge and run away. Because I've run out of bullets and light. I'm like, oh well, I'm fucked. I don't do. Just run. No.
You got this one. I'll see you in the next load up.
But yeah, no, it was a fun game, and there's a lot of intrigue, and like there's a couple puzzles here or there. But I'm at that point where I'm like on YouTube, like how do I solve this shit? I'm not trying to like what's the combination of this fucking lock?
Right.
Like 798. Oh, okay. Thanks. Get the gun, get the stuff, run.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll wait too. I see why it got Game of the Year.
Or
nominated. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Marcus?
I'll just breeze through as much as I can because I haven't been on the podcast in like a year.
Years at this point.
Right. But I'll just spotlight 3 games. As usual, I'm playing Overwatch 2. It's been my game since I started playing it again, especially heavily during lockdown. And Overwatch 2, I mean, it's what's to be said about it, though they did do a recent patch that completely changed the way I'm pretty sure I think you guys already talked about this, but like
I think yeah,
it basically kind of scaled the game away from team tactics and being a team shooter the way that it was intended to be. I mean, it's still a team shooter, but now because everybody has kind of latent healing and other things like that, it just kind of adds some redundancy to the support role, which is kind of annoying because that is most of what I play is the support role, and now people have been abandoning me more, and I'm just this is fantastic. Thanks a lot, Blizzard. Love
Thanks
you
for the
guys.
Hills. Good luck.
God, but yeah. So I mean, Overwatch 2, it's Overwatch. Then I played and beat Spider-Man 2 last year, and great game. I think that it's both stronger and weaker than the first game. Like I feel like the first game is more of a tight experience, whereas this game, like with most sequels, it expands things, which kind of works to its benefit and detriment, because the stuff that really works in the second game, and the stuff that kind of doesn't, like the more expanded, like side stealth mission shit, which really could just be cutscenes, but they were like, no, we have to be interactive. They have more of that, and it's not much better if you ask me. Yeah, sure, Mary Jane is now John Wick, but I still could have done without multiple missions with her doing her thing.
So dumb.
Yeah.
For sure.
I could have done without some of that stuff. I did like the story for the most part. I did like the way that they had multiple plot threads going on in terms of like there was more activity, I think, with some of the side villain or side like rogues gallery, which I thought was really cool, made the world feel a little bit more lively. And I'm really curious to see where they go with the third one, seeing as the way things kind of ended with Venom and other things that have kind of been left in the air. So yeah, you know, Spider-Man 2, great game, but I can also see why it didn't win a lot of stuff either. And then Baldur's Gate 3, which, you know, was my game of the year and most other people's game of the year. The little game that could, because I didn't know about Baldur's Gate 3 until everybody knew about Baldur's Gate 3, and then by that point I was just balls deep in Baldur's Gate 3. I've already beat it once, and now I'm like 2 acts into. I'm almost at Act 3 of my second playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is Gale still like, you know, I can blow up, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah. He's still ready to blow himself the fuck up at the earliest convenience.
Stop.
It's like, relax. Relax.
I do it now?
like the huh?
I said, just put on this wig. That's
right.
Gale. Just bless us.
I definitely it's an amazing game. It's one of the greatest RPGs to ever be released. just the sheer amount of choice and variety and freedom that you have in this game is really a sight to behold. And to the game's credit, like I don't even really, or at least before this, I didn't really enjoy this type of combat in RPGs, and now I am obsessed. Like I was playing yesterday and I was cheesing my way through some of these battles just off the sheer like understanding of like, oh, okay, I can finesse this or I can finesse this. Literally, I beat a boss or a mini boss recently by just standing right outside of where the cutscene triggers and just pelting him with magic until he died. Like it's amazing. Or another thing I recently did was I killed a boss without fighting him because I just had Karlach run up, and I usually stock her with like barrels.
Yeah.
And then I just put the barrels around him and then stood somewhere else and fired a fire arrow and blew his ass up. And I'm like, this game is this is the greatest game.
Oh man. I was gonna talk about in games, but like just talking about Baldur's Gate 3, like there's one interaction you have with in Act 2, like one of the like I guess side bosses or whatever, and you ask a set of like it's asking you questions about it's like the gold keeper, the toll keeper, whatever.
Yeah.
That was easy. You
and
just
like
gotta take out the little floating head.
No, well, it was super easy for me because I had gotten a conversation with it and it was asking me questions, and I guess answered the questions in a way that I confused it and it exploded and it was gold everywhere. And I was like, oh, bet. One piece of gold.
It's so amazing because like I said, I'm on my second playthrough, and there's certain things that have happened in this playthrough that I never experienced the first playthrough. Like it's really amazing. I got a guy in the goblin camp. I poisoned the alcohol and killed like a bunch of them. I got a guy to drink himself to death. I got a guy like I got a boss that was really, really challenging on my first playthrough to kill himself because my second character is a bard, and so I just finessed him. It's amazing. Like I love this game so much, and like it's been a long time since I've been this like motivated to play a game multiple times. Like I don't think I've felt that since maybe Dragon Age Inquisition, maybe. So yeah. Kudos to Larian. I didn't, like I said, because I haven't been on the podcast in a bit, I didn't get to sing the game's praises in the way that I would have wanted to. But yeah, no, kudos to everybody involved. I sincerely hope we get a DLC, like at least one, like a Witcher 3 Blood and Wine level of like just extended story. It could be like going to Avernus and fixing Karlach's heart or something, but like just give me one, just give us one DLC expansion campaign and I'll be happy. But yeah, that is what I've been playing.
Okay. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so we've been playing all these great games. How about that? You could do us a solid by supporting us playing great games and watching our content. And you can do that by I'm gonna nail this. I'm gonna nail this transition.
I believe
by
in you.
liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. And then if you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or podcast services you're currently tuned in on, because this has been another episode of Press X Star Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as you make.
We enjoyed making it.
Yes, we enjoyed making it. I need to take a nap, I think. Yes, so that's been that. Yeah, keep playing games. Enjoy the snow if you have it. If you don't have snow, go take a walk. Maybe take a jog. Pull your sleeves up like Marcus has done. I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. The fact that you get to go outside and not have to worry about freezing you to death or shoveling. I have to shovel, so I can't take. I got to shovel.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why do I have to be the guy in the relationship? Huh?
Nobody told you to get married. Nobody else to go.
I'm gonna figure out how to get London to shovel. That's what I'm gonna do.
Ooh.
So what? She's sick. Okay. So no. Anyways, That's been it. That's been it. Yeah, you guys, you take care. You enjoy the rest of the day, the night, whenever you're listening to this. If it's like the end of time you're listening to this, enjoy whatever you're doing over there. Okay. All right.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. Hey. All right. I need to go to the store. Okay, guys.
Yeah. All right.
What number is this?
Episode
3?
Season 8, episode 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
All right,
y'all.
y'all.
I will
All right,
talk
man.
to you
All right, y'all.
soon.
Peace.
Cares.
Peace. Bye.